Just trying to get this right. My stand. I need to change my glasses. These progressives, otherwise you'll be looking at my nose because I'll be like this trying to look out of the right spot of my glasses. Those are readers. Now I can see. I can see. Nobody's on yet. How good am I at talking to myself? Friday night. Everybody's probably out partying, right? Oh, I have a like, but it says no people. Ah, there's a person here. Are you somebody who would like to chat tonight? Thank you for the like. I was just trying to figure out if I'm very good at talking to myself. Oh, it's Marina! Yay! I wish I could put your face up here so I can see you when we chat. What are you up to today? Yay! Looks like it's just you and me. We get a nice little private chat here. Oh, there's 2 people on now. Oh, somebody crashed your parade, Marina. Oh, nope, somebody left. It's just us chickens for now. What have you been up to today? I think you have me all to yourself again. Looks like someone popped in. Hopefully I didn't offend them. I was only teasing. We had a pretty good day. This is Marina. Some errands, back to school shopping. I know. We have to think about that too. I always like to wait till the very last minute to do clothing with my boys because they grow so fast. And if I go too early for like back to school clothes, you know, by New Year's, their pants are, you know, above their ankles and all that. Yeah, but the school doesn't really require a whole lot from us, just maybe like a few notebooks and nah, they're not offended. Just like a few blank notebooks, some pencils, and then something to carry all their stuff in. So they're in pretty good shape there. High water pants won't do. No, no, not at all. So I kind of wait till the last minute. My younger son has grown taller and thinner, so he's been wearing the same size basically for the past 2 years. But he's going to need some new clothes because what he has are wearing out. So we'll have to do that, but that'll be like last minute, maybe even after school starts. We'll go some weekend to pick some stuff out for him. So what kind of back to school stuff, Marina, were you looking to get? Was it clothing or was there actual like school supply things that she needs? My daughter has done a lot of physical therapy and increased her physical fitness to help with her I don't know how to say that syndrome, and POTS. Whoops. And she has basically needed a whole new wardrobe. Oh, that's nice for her. I'm sure she loved getting a whole new wardrobe of clothes. How you doing, Shannon? I'm sorry, my fingers are all over the place. Clothing and shoes. Oh my gosh, she must have been in heaven getting new stuff. Shannon, when I put the comment about the socks, I was teasing. Of course, you probably wouldn't give your adult children mismatched socks, but I just thought it was silly. You know, you could just give them mismatched socks and tell them it's the new style. I'm a passenger in a car, can't have sound now, but I'm here for the hours. Aw, that's really nice of you, Shannon. I should just say, can I do chat? No, I guess I can't do chat. If she knows sign language, she'll know, thank you, Shannon. We abbreviate elders down by saying EDS. Okay, that makes sense. It's probably easier to say too than the whole syndrome. Is she easy to shop for, or is she picky about the clothes that she likes? I know some teenage girls can be picky, picky, picky. That's another reason for boys. She's picky about her clothes. Sorry, I have a shadow right here. It looks like I have like some kind of, at least in my video camera, it looks like I have some kind of mark. It's just a shadow from the glasses. I'm not bruised up, honestly. Oh, she's very particular, but she can find what she wants, and if I can help finding things, I try to do that. Okay. Well, it sounds like it's not too difficult then for you to try to get some stuff for her if she kind of knows what she wants and she can find it. Is she excited for school to start? I think nobody in our house is excited for school to start. Nobody. I told my boys that this year they're going to have to ride the bus for the first time since before COVID. During COVID, our school was saying, like, if anybody could drive their kids to school, we're trying to keep the number of kids low that are riding the bus. So since I work at the school, yeah, she's in a good space about school, but of course does not want summer break to end. Yeah, totally relatable. But yeah, so since I worked at the school, I was like, well, I could drive my boys to school, no big deal. But then it just started to continue going on and continue to going on. And the thing is, like, they have to be there before I have to be there. And then at the end of the school day, I have to wait a half hour to pick up the one that I'm in school with. And then we have to drive over to the high school and go get the other one. And I'm like, I'm done. I am done. Not to mention that, like, since they weren't on the bus list, like, if I had a day where I was sick and I couldn't go to work, I still had to drive them. It was so frustrating. And then I still had to go and pick them up. So I'd be feeling miserable and I'd be still driving all over the place. So I told them that they're not happy about it at all, but I told them it's the bus for you guys this year. So what's everybody else up to? I see there's more people in now. I know Shannon can't talk, but what's everybody else up to? Yeah, it's too much running around for you when you have the perfectly good option with the bus. That's for sure. And you know, it'll save me so much time during the day. You know, I can leave a little bit later, and then when I'm done with work, I can just go home. I don't have to wait another hour for kids. You know, I was happy to do it during COVID. Well, not happy, but good. Keep chatting. Marina said she's going to keep chatting till other people come in. That's great. Oh, Grammy Colleen. Hi, how are you? What are you up to tonight, Colleen? Oh, now we're down to 3. So I was working, trying to work something up. I'm just using my imagination. I can show you guys. I bought, I'm okay, the grandgirls are swimming and I'm eating a dinner salad. Oh, you must be more on the western part because it's pretty late here. It's 9:16 where I am. So I have a nice shirt, but it's sleeveless, or yeah, sleeveless. And I wanted some kind of like short sleeve, kind of, not even, not a shawl. I want it to be, shrug maybe is the right word for it. Oh yeah, okay, you're in Washington, no wonder. I think I knew that. Now now that you're saying that, I think I did know that. I think you've told me that before. I'm sorry, I apologize, that slipped my mind. But I was looking for like something kind of like a shawl that you would put your arms into. It's not like really long or anything, but just something to kind of cover up my shoulders a little bit with this shirt. So I'm just kind of winging it and making something up. I decided to do a live. Oh, thank you. You're right, I don't. Sorry, hubby was like, what's going on? So I started this pattern. This is just like something I'm winging. If it's something good, I'll turn it into something, but I was just gonna make it thicker and then like sew together arms so that I can put my arms through it. I hope I'm describing it well. I couldn't find, I was looking for patterns because I just thought it would be easier to do a pattern than to try and make one up on my own, but I couldn't find just what I was looking for. So when you're in that boat, you just kind of have to either ditch it or make up your own thing. So I'm trying it out. I don't know if it'll work. If it does, maybe, you know, like I said, maybe I'll do a video tutorial of it, but I had a little bit of this left over. A circular vest, maybe. I don't know what a circular vest is. Let me look up circular vest on my other device here and give you an idea. Circular vest. Let me make sure. I see what you're saying here. Let me see if I could find something. More what I was thinking. Let me see, did somebody say something? I'm sorry if you did. I'm not completely sure what a circular vest is either, but your description made me think of pictures I've seen. Yeah, I just saw some pictures of a circular vest. Okay, here's something that's very close to what I was thinking of. Oops, sorry. Is that what they're called? That might be what it's called, Colleen. Oops, not that. Oh no, it just clicked onto something else. Here it is. it's kind of like this. It has a back and then the sleeves, but it doesn't really pull in front of you. Oh, Joseph, did you say something? I'm sorry. Did I miss what you said? I don't see anything else with Joseph. Hi, Joseph. Did you watch Atypical? Do you see what I'm saying here with the kind of just something to give you sleeves? Crochet sleeves, yeah, basically. There'll be a back. I thought a shrug, okay. Shrug, okay, yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. It's the stereotype true that only old ladies crochet. I don't know, let's tell Joseph. Joseph said, is the stereotype true that only old ladies crochet? I don't think that's true. If you start looking up crochet on YouTube, yes, you'll find some old ladies like me, but you'll see people of all different ages. And there's even guys. There's quite a few guys that have crocheting. One of my favorite crochet pattern books was done by a man. It's called he has a YouTube channel called Knot Monster, Knot. Oh, is that knitting? No, probably the same for crocheting and knitting. Marina said it's all over TikTok and Instagram. All kinds of young people are crocheting. It's very hip. There you go, Joseph. You should learn. You can make your sisters and your mom some nice Christmas gifts. Oh, you're not calling me old. Okay, that's okay. No worries. I am old, but especially to a kid. I learned to crochet 20 years ago, so I was, let's see, I'm 50, so I was 30 when I started to learn. I mean, that's not young, but that's pretty young. 30 feels young now. At the time, I thought I was like ancient, but I don't know. Joseph, what do you think is old? Now, maybe I shouldn't ask that. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. So how are you, Linda? I saw you sneak in there. Oh, wow. There you go. Shannon learned to crochet when she was 10. And Linda learned when she was 27. That's definitely young. Awesome. I wish I would have learned when I was young, but I don't know. I was a totally different person when I was young. Maybe it wouldn't have taken when I was younger. I learned how to knit from my mom, but it never really went anywhere. You know, like I learned the stitches and I did it, and I think I may have made like a scarf or something like that, but then it never really went anywhere. Oh my gosh, Ray's on. Hi, Ray. You're working on the dice bag. Which one did you say you're going to do? The turtle? Is that what you said? I can't believe how popular the turtle one is. That was actually a request. Somebody last year had said to me, like, I really want a dice bag, and I showed them the patterns I had, and they said, nah, I'd really like a turtle. And I was like, a turtle? Okay. And so that's where that inspiration came from. But that, I don't know why, it just kind of like intrigued me. And that was one of the quickest patterns that I came up with, one of the quickest ones. Yep, the turtle, that's what the hubby picked for me to do. That's awesome. I'm glad it's popular. Of course, the one that I sell the most of still is the Dragon Head dice bag, and unfortunately, too many people are trying to copy that design, but that's okay. It's not okay, but I mean, I can take care of it. It's just annoying. Shannon gave me a little dragon head dice bag. I don't know if everybody saw the video. It is so cute. The dragon is super cool. Thank you. Marina said, that's awesome. Love turtles. Yeah, that one really turned out. That was a happy request. I was glad I was able to add that one to my book. So, well, I'll be excited, Ray, to see how it turns out. Very excited. Here, if I can reach over, I'll show you the one that Shannon made me. Sorry. Oh, yes, the Malabrigo fingered weight yarn on a C crochet hook. I just have it right here. I have it with my dice. It's so cute. It is so cute. I love the sparkling eyes. It is adorable, and this yarn is amazing. I love that you did it with something different, and I love that it's so small. It's so cute. This is the one that I keep most of my dice in, the Sleepy Lion. I know Shannon thought that looked like a patriotic lion, but I do a face on both sides. You could do it with whatever yarn you want. I was using scrap yarn when I was making these, and I didn't have like what I would have wanted for the deep browns and stuff for the for the mane and for the body. So I was just using what I had at that point. And these were the colors that I had available. What did Shannon say? Not all the dice bags need to be huge. It should hold what you need for a game. Yep, that's true. That's true. This actually has the little one in it. There's the dragon inside the lion. And then I have another little one here that I keep some special dice in. And then all my weird dice are here. Like, I know you didn't really need a dice lesson from me, but I have rock, paper, scissors dice, which are kind of fun. Sometimes I take those to school when kids are having disagreements. I'm like, all right, here's the rock, paper, scissors dice. Figure it out. You know, whoever wins, wins. So, I don't know. I've just kind of gotten into dice. I don't collect them, but, you know, I think that dice are pretty cool. The funny thing is my husband doesn't like crocheted things. So I've never made him a hat. I've never made him a dice bag, even though he has dice and he has dice collections. He doesn't want me to make him one. So easy for me. My boys have some. They wanted Minion dice bags. So, you know, I was able to replicate that. But years ago, I was selling them on eBay. Ray said we have a ton of dice because my hubby plays Magic the Gathering. So yeah, I get it. Have you made crochet dice? Not really. I have the crochet dice dishcloth pattern, which is in my Etsy store, but not dice. I was considering doing like a dice bag that looked like dice, but there was a lot of that already out there, and I didn't want anybody to think I was copying their pattern, or I didn't want to actually copy a pattern. So I thought, you know what, that one's taken. And there's other things that I've thought of, like I was just kind of thinking of things, and I thought, oh my gosh, a mermaid tail dice bag would be awesome. So always when I have an idea, I check online first to see if it's already been done. And I checked Etsy, I checked online, and they were everywhere. Like everybody was making mermaid tail dice bags. So I was like, oh, never mind. I don't want to violate copyright with that. And another one that I had thought of, some of you might have heard this story already, was a fish dice bag. Like that was like a fish, and maybe you put the dice in the opening of the mouth. And so I looked around and that was already taken. There's already a lot of that out there. But the funny thing is the person who just most recently started selling the design for my dragon head dice bag pattern, she's the one that does the fish dice bag. And I didn't tell her this because I didn't have any contact from my side to her. But when I saw that she was making those fish dice bag, I didn't do it because I didn't want to, violate copyright. But she saw my dragon head bag and she copied it and put a pattern up for sale on it. It has been taken down, but I just thought that was kind of ironic that the person I was trying not to copy went and copied me. So weird. I don't know. I feel like I was saying something else and then got off on a tangent. I'm sorry, that happens to me a lot. I'll be talking about one thing and then I start talking about something else and then I forget what I was actually talking about to begin with. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I know where that was going. I'm sorry. But there can be patterns that are sort of similar, but still not the same. I was looking at French market bags and country market bags, both tutorial, very similar, but different. Yes, to a degree, So I went on the copyright website just to make sure to learn, because I needed to know, like the person who did the dice bag, they made the horns a little bit longer, is that enough? So the rule is, from what I've read on the government copyright website, there's no certain number or percentage of stitches that have to be different. What it has to be is, and I guess this would be subjective, it has to heavily rely on the design of the original pattern. So the bags, I don't know, some stuff just is close. I've seen hat patterns that were very close, or shawl patterns that were really close. I don't know. And just because you see two that are the same doesn't mean one of them's not breaking copyright law. And maybe they don't know it, or maybe the original person who made that pattern doesn't know it. Because you can't have your eyes on everything. I try to look around. There's somebody who's, I saw Bella Coco, Mooley, Crochet Cloud, and so many others have this market bag that all look very, very similar. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. And I guess what it would come down to is whoever thinks they own it would have to go after all of the other people, so to speak. And I know it seems, and this is where it's intimidating, is that you'd have to prove that you had it first, and then you would have to go after them. Somebody you'd have to sue them or something. On a platform like Etsy, they have a legal department. They all seem to coexist this peacefully. Well, that's good. Good for them. I was going to say, on a platform like Etsy, is the wording itself that is copyrighted. In a book, sort of, but think of a story think of Harry Potter. If I took that book and changed the location, changed the characters' names, and maybe played around with some of the spells and wrote the book otherwise the same, that would still be breaking copyright. And so that's where it gets tricky. It would be up to, I guess, the judge or whoever was judging this. Does it rely too heavily on the original work on, does, so, sorry, I'm trying to think of how to say that. I'm trying to remember how it was worded exactly. It was something like the copied one has to rely heavily on the design of the original one, if that makes sense. So if you were going to go like, I was saying that in Etsy, they have Etsy Legal. So Etsy Legal can pull down patterns. They can make that judgment call. They could say, this one just looks enough like the other one, or relies too heavily on the design of this one, so we can pull that down. Which they've done a few times for me, because there've been multiple times that people have tried to sell that dragon head pattern almost exactly, almost. They might. There's one lady who I could think of from last summer. Oh my gosh, she was like, well, I didn't look at your pattern, but if you looked at her final outcome of the design, it was exactly like mine. Her horns were exactly like mine. The eyes were exactly like mine. The shape of it was exactly like mine. The nostrils were exactly like mine. But she was trying to fight me that because she never saw my pattern before, and I'm like, that's not how the copyright thing works. And a lot of people might be intimidated to go ahead and sue, because it's like, okay, it's a $4 pattern. What am I going to do? Spend thousands of dollars on a lawyer? But for that particular pattern, because I've had so many issues with it, I went and I paid to have it officially copyrighted through the Copyright Office. And so I have the email, but I'll be getting the certificate in 8 to 16 months, because apparently that's how long it takes for them to issue a certificate for it. But if you have your pattern registered and official through the government, first of all, that design is yours up to 70 years past your death. So I can will this pattern to my kids and they can sell it for 70 years after my death. And the other thing is, if somebody violates copyright with it, when I sue them, I can also sue them for lawyers' costs. Now, I mean, hopefully it would never get to that, but I just felt like I wanted to have something more official. I have pictures of it from 2014. I came up with the design probably before that, but that's just the first place where I could find pictures of it. I have it published in a book. Well, that's a very unique pattern in your case. That's true. That's true. I mean, I don't know if people get mad at each other if hat designs are too close, or scarf designs. I don't know if you can, because those are, I don't know. I wouldn't go and do that. I made up fingerless gloves, but I mean, they probably look close to other fingerless glove designs. So I don't know that I would be running after somebody being like, that's my fingerless glove design. I not for that, but I think, yeah, for the unique items, especially the ones that are something special to you, you worked really hard on. I've played with the design of that dragon head bag for 10 years, to make it where it is now. It's always been that same general shape, and the eyes have been that same general thing. The antenna or the horns, whatever, have been that same kind of general thing. But I've played around with it until I got it exactly the way that I wanted it for 10 years. I put a lot of work into that, and I sell a lot of them on Etsy. So I don't want somebody coming in and taking away my ability to profit from all that hard work. That's 10 years of my work. And then you looked at it and you didn't have to come up with that design yourself. You didn't have to come up with that shape yourself. You design your snout just like I did mine, and the top of the head that's just like I did mine. Would you have thought of that by yourself if you didn't see mine? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't sound like too snooty or snobby. I'm not trying to sound like that. I just, I don't think that J.K. Rowling's would let people write, basically rewrite Harry Potter with different names and different locations and maybe some different spells. She would probably squish that right away. So, I couldn't paint the Mona Lisa and say, oh, I made up this girl all by myself. I made up how she looks all by myself, because no, that already existed. So I know Shannon had asked, and I was kind of going around it, if the wording was what's copyright. And it's sort of, but it's the design. The design is really the most copyright thing, like how it's designed. So yeah, but it's just kind of been my practice to, if I have an idea for something, to go and check it out and see if somebody's already done it. Because just because I think of something doesn't mean that nobody else has ever thought of it. You know, like the fish dice bag and the mermaid tail. Oh my gosh, I was so disappointed about the mermaid tail because I thought that would have been so cool. I had ideas in my head of how I would have made that, but too close. I might not have done the exact stitches or whatever, but it would have been too close. Relied too heavily on the original design. So, anybody else working on things? Ray said she was working on a dice bag, which is so cool. I can't wait to see it. Anybody have any weekend plans? We don't really have anything major. Oh, I guess the weekend is half over. I keep thinking today's Friday. I'm getting my days all mixed up. Everybody's quiet. Am I glitching? Or am I missing comments? Let me see. Am I missing any? No. Didn't miss anything. Marina said, I recently finished some crochet sleeve shrugs for my daughter and I need to seam it together. Cool. Like kind of like the same thing that I'm working on, or is it a little different? And I'm curious if you used a pattern or if you just made it up yourself. It came out so cute. Oh, you'll have to send me a picture. I want to see it. Oh. Does she love it? No, it's different than that. I can send you some pics through email. Oh, I would love to see that, Marina. I'd love to see it. Did you use a pattern or did you just kind of make something up? No, I followed a tutorial. She loves it so much. Awesome. Awesome. Is it just me? I'm just sitting here listening. My husband was working on stuff in his office and then he came out and he was kind of checking what was going on. And he decided to go downstairs and watch TV. I'm way upstairs. He put on baseball and it is so loud that I can hear it here. I wouldn't be surprised if you could hear it too. Is it just me, or why does why do sports have to be so loud? When I send you the pics from the video tutorial, keep in mind that my daughter won't be wearing it with a brawl it. She will be wearing a tank top or a t-shirt. Yeah, I figured. I figured that was probably like something that you would be wearing over clothes. But yeah, like the sports, you don't need to have the cheering be a bralette. I gotcha. Um, you don't have to hear the cheering so loud. And you can hear the people commenting on it. Maybe it's just me. Oh, good. Marina said she can't hear anything. Okay, that's good. I can hear it. I don't know if it's like a sensory thing for me, but I really can't stand to listen to people cheer. Like, if somebody walks in the room and you're clapping for them or something like that, that's fine. But I mean, like, for hours, like a whole baseball game, all 9 innings, all you hear are people like cheering and clapping and stuff in the background. And I'm like, okay, enough. I can't stand all that background. I don't mind the commentators. Maybe it's just a weird sensory thing for me. User in Oklahoma. Can I join your community? I promise I'm not. Oh, okay. Do I have anybody who's a lot of people have sensory things like that. Sounds like you do. Yeah, I do. I definitely could. Oh, thank you, Marina, for taking care of that. Yeah, I was just going to ask if I had anybody as a moderator, because I thought I saw some people with the moderator symbol there. You got it. I was looking through my pics so I can email you real quick. Awesome. I only have the account on my phone, and I'm using my phone for this live, so I won't be able to see it till after the live. Everybody else got really quiet. So I'll show you again what I have. Hey guys, just lurking this evening. Awesome. Glad to have you, Adrienne. That's awesome. I think I did that on one of your latest lives, Adrienne, just because I wasn't in a position to be able to type. So I just kind of poked in and was listening in on what you guys were saying. Adrienne, do you have anything you're working on? I saw your video where you said you were a little bit burned out. I think though, like, I can understand. When you were talking about that, I was thinking like, I see all of those big things that you make for Etsy. And I think if I was making all those things to sell, I think I would burn out a lot faster too. And I think I told you about this before. Like, I prefer just to sell patterns on Etsy. I don't want to make stuff and then have to deal with shipping and special orders, and especially big things like if it's a shawl or a wrap or a blanket. I just think I would really fast get sick of that. But the patterns are really nice because you list it once and you give Etsy the PDF version of the pattern and you do nothing else. All you do is get emails that it's sold. You probably know that because I'm sure you sell patterns too. But yeah, those are nice and easy. No shipping, nothing. I don't have to email anybody or anything unless they had a question. But yeah, I think that doing big projects on demand would probably burn me out fast too. I like kind of what we do on YouTube, you know, and making what I want to make and being able to chat with my friends. Adrian said, I've got a bunch of projects going on right now. Today I worked on the fireman teddy bear and another lotus mandala cardigan. My wrist is killing me from crocheting so much lately. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I know, like I said, it looks like a lot of the stuff that you have in your Etsy shop is kind of like bigger stuff. And I could see, at least for me, I could see myself burning out kind of easily with that. I have a few patterns listed in my Etsy and in my Ravelry shop. That's awesome. They're easy though, aren't they? The patterns. You just send them the PDF and they take care of the rest. You know, once you list it, it's done. I just go in there and change the quantity every once in a while if they start getting low. I think that's the only thing you have to watch out for. Yeah, all the ones are in my shop are pretty easy. I have that tank top pattern coming out in September. There are several people testing it for me right now. Oh, that's awesome. See, that'll be easy peasy for you. You just put that pattern up and the rest does itself. Anybody start the new things we're making Thursday project yet? I'm curious what other people think about the pattern. Anyone? Bueller? Nobody started it yet? What am I missing? Nothing. I did. It's easy. That's awesome, Adrian. Well, I can't wait to see yours, Linda. I thought the directions were kind of confusing. I think it's really pretty, and I have not started it yet.
I have the helmet already. I give you a template for it already.
Yeah, I am, let me see, 13 rows into it. And I was able to get through it. I did not use the video tutorial, but I've had a lot of people email me with questions about it. But I have a lot of mandala yarn to use, which is a 3-weight, so it'll be interesting. But I can follow the schematics. Yeah, that's true. There is a picture. I never really got comfortable reading the picture. Like I can now. I've kind of learned to, but I still prefer the written directions. And she does her repeats a little bit funny in the directions, I thought. I've started over a dozen times and I have given up. First, I kept having 4 extra stitches. Then I found the video tutorial and figured it out. But then I was like, nope, already have too many projects. Heather, will you be sharing any tips or help with the pattern in a tutorial? If I knew for sure that I had permission to, I would. I always feel a little bit funny trying to like give tutorial. The closest thing I ever came to that, yeah, I agree with you, Adrian. I didn't think that the pattern was well written. The closest thing I did to a video tutorial was when we did the love blanket in January. I had a lot of people ask me how I changed color while I was doing a blanket. So I did a tutorial and I used the love blanket, but all I showed was how to change color. I didn't show like how to do it. I get a little nervous about that just because I've had so many copyright things kind of get in my face over the past year. Over the past year especially, but even before that. I get a little nervous about that, but I might like, maybe I would talk about some of the repeats, like how she writes her repeats. Well, maybe not a tutorial, I misspoke, some tips. I can definitely talk about some tips. And I don't know, like, there are 2 video tutorials for it. Mikey from the Crochet Crowd does one, and I have to look it up again. Somebody told me of another person who has a video tutorial up of it as well. And they said they thought that this person did a better job than Mikey. And I forget, I got it in an email and it's just slipping my mind right now who they said did it. But I figured if you can do a tutorial, I did a small one for the 3D crochet flower last week, super easy, beginner friendly. Your Inspirations will be happy to have all you guys going to their website all the time to get the pattern. I was thinking that too, like how many, all those patterns that we did, how many people had people visiting their blog and, you know, I have written permission to do tutorial for Garden Studio, but I have to give credit to them and I can only talk, about the yarn if I use the recommended yarn. Oh, okay, and that's tricky too because we don't always use the recommended yarn. Adrian said that. Marley Bird, good at 2. Okay, that was who it was, Shannon. It was Marley Bird. As long as it's a free pattern, there would be no copyright. See, you're in Canada, so maybe the rules are different, but when I was reading through the copyright website from the US government, they said even if the pattern is free, it's still protected under copyright. So the rules might be different where you are. You'd have to have permission from, at least in the, at least my understanding of what I read on the website is, I should probably like reference the website here since I've talked about it so much. From what I've read in that, you know, even free patterns, you can't do that. And Shannon, if you have your own design, by all means, you can do a video tutorial of it all day. You know, but like, you couldn't take something from a book you bought and did a video tutorial unless the person who wrote that book, wrote that pattern, said, yeah, I give you permission to do that. Like Adrian said with who did she say? She has written permission from Garden Studio. And so, but she has to give them credit, and they told her that she had to also use the yarn that was recommended. Adrian, thank you for the congratulations. I think if you credit them and link them in the pattern, maybe, but I would still get permission from them first. Somebody else that I follow, if I think of who it is, Mary Maker. Oh, okay, so Adrian is still looking to get hours. So if anybody wants to go to Kiwi's Crochet Corner and help her out. I forget where I was going with that free one. Yeah, it can be tricky. So I don't know if I would go down that path if it's even if it's a free pattern. Oh, I was going with Mary Maker. That's the name of her channel. She went to Yarnspirations and she asked if she could do a tutorial. Oh, don't worry about it, Adrian. I always lose my train of thought even without an interruption. She went to Yarnspirations because she wanted to do a video tutorial for a pattern. And they gave her permission, and I think it was only for that pattern. I don't know, I could be wrong. But they gave her permission, and they just told her that she had to give them credit. But I think, at least in the United States, to my understanding, even if it's a free pattern, you have to get permission before you can do that. Yeah, you definitely can't do it for a paid pattern. Yeah, and Adrian said that's how she got permission. So Adrian, if you did a free pattern from your place without their permission, would you get in trouble? Is my question, because I think there are people here that are saying that it's okay to do a video tutorial on a free pattern. I disagree. I'd be careful. I would be really, really careful about that. Yeah, I would just say make absolutely sure that you know it's okay. No, I've written permission to do a tutorial on any of their free patterns. Okay. Oh, I'm not suggesting that, I'm just asking how it works. Oh, yeah, that's fine, Marina. I was just thinking you better really, especially if it's a bigger company, you know, like Yarnspirations or, you know, any, you know, I shouldn't say especially because it's not like it's less legal if they're not as big. But yeah. I was just thinking that the bigger companies would have more resources to go after you if you if it wasn't legal. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm just Garden Studio is bigger in the UK, I believe. Yeah, it could be. I'm not really sure. Better safe than sorry. Linda said I've done numerous tutorials for free patterns from Yarnspirations. Okay. But I mentioned them. For sure, that is good. How's your new sweater, Linda? I know you were talking about you had a new design for, was it a sweater that you were working on? I have to make sure, Linda. I did not unsubscribe from you, but I haven't seen anything from you for a while. Have you not done a video for a while, or am I just, do I need to recheck that I didn't get unsubscribed? I would not have done that on purpose. But I'm just thinking, I don't think I've seen a video from you for a while. I'm just making sure that it's nothing on my end. Adrian said they always recommend drops yarn. If I substitute, I have to recommend the yarn that they do and mention that I'm subbing. Linda has 4 new designs. Awesome. Okay, so you can, Adrian, use a different yarn, but you have to just say, hey, this is the yarn that you should use. Well, I guess that's a little bit more flexible then. Exactly. Okay, well that's good though, that gives you a little bit of flexibility because, you know, especially if they recommend an expensive yarn. Okay, Linda, so I haven't missed anything. Linda said she's had no videos since May. Okay. I'll still double check that I still am. Because I was just thinking I didn't remember seeing anything recently. I knew you were going to be visiting family, but I think last time we were on. Live tomorrow at 1. Woohoo! 1 p.m. your time, so I have to figure out what that is my time. Ooh, that sounds pretty, Adrian. She said she's been meaning to do a tutorial on the fairy glass cardigan. Josephine said, I would think you can select another yarn if it's discontinued. Yeah, I would guess you'd have to. You could always ask them what to do. Can channels drop links in the chat? Good question. Are you able to do that since you're a moderator? Atlantic time. All right, so I'm going to tell you, it is 10:05 here. What time is it your time? Then I'll know. I can't guarantee that I will be around because we have some errands to run, but I will try to pop in. Hi, Maritza. I will try to pop in and, even if I just have it running so it'll help you with your hours. Marina Kenson, she's a moderator. 8:05 p.m. Are you also the same time zone, Shannon? So it'll be 2 hours. It's 11:05 where you are? So you're later than I am? Since you're a mod, it should drop as a link. Do you know how to do that? If you don't, Marina, maybe I can make Adrian. Okay, so you are ahead of me by an hour. So if you're going on at 1, it would be noon. I'll keep an eyeball out for that. By 1 hour. Okay. It's funny, I was not expecting you to be ahead of me. All right, let me see if I can add her. Adrian, I just put you, 2 p.m. my time. Okay. If you're 11:05 right now, I was 10:05. I'm 10:08 now, where I am. Sorry, I was getting confused. So if it's 2 o'clock, I'll keep an eye out for that. Put your own for sure, because you're looking for some hours. If anybody is willing and able to help Adrian get to her 3,000 watch hours and then 4,000, that would be awesome. And I think it was Linda from Lefty's Crochet Knit. No, 12. I'm totally confused. I'm just going to have to live on YouTube tomorrow to find you. I'll keep refreshing every 5 minutes. I'll wake up at 6 a.m. and just keep refreshing every 5 minutes just in case. Okay, there's Adrian's. And then Linda from Lefty's Crochet and Knit, because she's going to do a live tomorrow sometime during the day. Oh my gosh, Shannon, you are so quick. When did you start your channel? I'm just curious, Shannon. It took me, let me see. Took me 9 months to get to 500 subscribers. Oh, good. Shannon said she's been helping you, Adrian. My first video was June. Yeah, you're doing really well, Shannon. Not everybody can creep up as fast as you. That's awesome, though. I told you in the beginning, I'm like, as soon as people find you, you're gonna be popular. I could just like tell right away. You just have a really nice, you seem very comfortable in front of the camera. You know what you're gonna say, and you're very informative and knowledgeable about what you're talking about. So, I mean, yeah, you're just up there. I'm putting out a lot of content. Yeah, I was trying to do that too last summer. Last summer I was out, but I don't think that I'm as like, I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. Poised? I don't know. Marina, if Adrian is doing that, she might not be seeing your chat. We'll ask her. Adrian, Marina was wondering if you were going to each of their individual links and to get them and then pasting them in the chat, or if there was another way to do it from just from the chat. Oh, okay. Marina, she said, Adrian said that she's been going and getting their links and copying and paste them. Oh my gosh, I feel like the baseball game just got even louder. As a mod, you can drop links for whatever is needed. Awesome. Marina, I'm sorry that I don't know anything about that. Maybe, maybe Marina would, or not Marina, Adrian. Adrian, I think Marina was asking if like there was a way that you could have people do it themselves. I don't know anything about that. So we'll keep an eye out for Linda tomorrow. Oh, depends on the software. Yeah. I did not go through live stream. Is that what it's called? Live stream? I didn't do that today. Last time I did a live, I did that, and we had guests on. It's weird, but I felt like it was a little bit more awkward to do it with more people. I would have thought it would like the conversation would have flowed better if there were more people on with me, but I felt like we all were just kind of like we didn't know what to talk about. There was like a bunch of us on the screen and no one was talking. I don't know what was up with that. I felt like, oh, that'll be a much more comfortable setting to have like 4 or 5 of us going all at once, but it didn't feel that way to me. I feel a little bit more comfortable when it's just me. So Heather would have to set up a Nightbot account and then set up a keyword when people type that word. Nightbot will automatically drop the channel links. I have to figure that out then. I'm sorry, I don't have that set up. I'm still learning. So Linda, is it just going to be like chatting like this, or do you have something that you're going to talk about specific tomorrow? Shannon said I was part of that for a few minutes. I thought I was dominating the conversation and needed to be quiet. I think, Shannon, when you came in, we were all grateful for someone to come in and talk because we were all like, what do I say? I can go channel and copy and paste, no problem. Thanks for teaching me. I have all that stuff set up for my channel, but I don't go live very often. Well, that's a good way to get hours, though. I guess you know that. I'm spoiled. My son is techie. Oh, yes, you are spoiled. Nice. Plus, in a bigger group, someone needs to monitor and interact with the chat. Yeah, that's true. I think we're all just learning. So, Shannon, if I'm ever in trouble again and you come into one of my lives, you can feel free to dominate the conversation. Oh, good. Linda said she's going to show her new designs tomorrow. I'm excited to see that. Thank you for the blue dress, Heather. Oh, of course. I think you'll have it every time you're on now with me. But yeah, if you have time to do it, Adrian, you do get some pretty decent hours from doing lives. I just was really excited to come on and to talk a little bit more intimately with my friends. If anyone ever, and I'm not trying to like push this by any means, I'm not expecting it, but if anybody did ever like join my channel, that's one of the things that I would do, would be like more intimate private chats with people. We would do lives for just the members. Hey, Crystal. I've got to make a washcloth tonight for tomorrow's video. Yeah, sometimes that kind of slips by. I've had a couple times where I'm like getting in towards the week and I'm like, oh gosh, I need to I need to get some dishcloths done or I'm gonna miss my scrubby Sunday. It's good to see you, Crystal. So I know what you're working on. Let me see, Linda said something, but it fell off my screen. And do a tutorial from one of the other YouTube channels with her permission, of course. There you go. Adrian said, my biggest thing with lives is I feel a bit awkward a lot of the time. Most of the time when I go live, I have my mom as a guest. Oh, that's good. Your mom seems to be very outgoing from what I've seen. So I'm sure that that is very helpful to you to have her on. I know there were a couple of times that I had, that I went on with my son, Roman. And it's so funny because Roman is 15 and he's on the spectrum. And typically he will talk so much. I love having him around in situations where I'm not sure how conversations will go, because he just will find something to talk about and just talk. And he is so talkative. But the couple times that we've done lives, he wasn't saying very much. He was answering everything like yes, no. I just thought it was funny. I think I may get back into designing and possibly sharing those designs again. Yeah, I love talkative people, yes. That's a thought. Maybe I could get Benjamin to do a live with me. Yeah, why not? I know that Roman did one with me once because he has a channel. If you guys don't know his channel, I think most of you probably already know it. It's Roman from My Life with Autism. And he does a vlog about what it's like to live with autism. And so the times that we got on, it was like kind of to promote him a little bit too. So people could get to know him and maybe check out his channel. So Benjamin wants to start a gaming channel. Yeah, so does every single kid. When I work at a middle school, and whenever I ask kids what they want to do for a living, I will be willing to bet like 80% of the kids say, I'm going to be a YouTube star, gaming YouTube star. So Even my younger son, he thinks that he's going to do that. He has a gaming channel and he's had it for like 3 years and he has like 8 subscribers and they're all his friends. So I'm like, it's not as easy as you think to be getting into the gaming YouTube thing. You know, it's good to have like a little niche, you know. Roman kind of attracts people who are interested in autism, although it has opened him up to get, you know, kind of teased a few times. Teased isn't even the right word, maybe bullied. You know, like he talked in one of his videos about when he goes to college and somebody wrote in the comments, college isn't for, and they use the R word, R-E-T. And so, you know, it's unfortunately it's kind of opened him up to that, and that kind of thing shocked me too, because I've always had such a positive experience here on YouTube. Yeah, it's terrible. I cannot stand that word, and he is far from that. He's got a very high IQ. He's going into 10th grade and he's taking calculus. He's taking AP calculus next year, so he is not the R word. You know, he is very socially awkward, but he is not unintelligent. People get rude behind the keyboard. Yeah, I think that that's true. Like if a lot of people would never do that to someone's face. You know, although he had an issue with one particular kid at school, but this past year when he was in 9th grade, that kid ended up getting expelled from school. So I don't know if he'll come back this year, because I had always thought once you were expelled from school, that was it for you. And I don't know if it's just a rule for my school or if it's a rule all over, but apparently when you get expelled, it's only good for a year and you can come back to school the next year. So I don't know if that's a universal rule or if that's just the rule our school has. So now, you know, we're kind of like holding our breath, hoping this kid doesn't come back next year. Yeah, he punched Roman at school. You know, it was just ridiculous. This kid is out of control. And he bullies other kids too, but he especially looks for kids that he thinks are weak. And the whole story, which is really kind of hilarious, in a sad way. But what happened was Roman had a Spanish class with this kid. And this kid every day would get so mad at him and so like just kind of always nitpick at him, trying to get him upset, because they went to the same elementary school, and in elementary school, whenever he would get Roman worked up, Roman would cry. And this kid just thought it was hilarious to get Roman worked up and trying to get him to cry. And so this year, this past school year, the kid was really getting upset because he couldn't get Roman riled up. Roman has been really working on socially learning how to deal with people like that. And so Roman wasn't getting upset. And so they were playing this, you know, they have all these games. I can't even remember what they're called now, but they were playing some kind of game on the computer in Spanish to review their vocab words. And Roman apparently won the game. It was like each kid competes with all the rest of the kids in the class. Roman won the game, and the kid goes, "You cheat, Roman, you cheat." And Roman said, "Yeah, like you do with your girlfriend." And the kid was so mad because he didn't have a comeback for that. And so they left class. And in the hallway, that kid punched Roman. And then he got the reaction that he wanted, because Roman didn't know how to handle being punched. And so he was very, very upset and crying. And they took him to the nurse. The nurse took him to the autistic support teacher. And it was just a whole big thing. And the kid got 2 days of out of school suspension. That was his punishment. That's not what he got expelled for. He got expelled for having weed at school. But yeah, so we're kind of hoping this kid doesn't come back. So let me see, I'm missing a couple things. I apologize for that. That was always considered a cuss word in our house growing up. That and the word, yeah, stupid. My brother has severe dyslexia and couldn't read at all until after he graduated. In fact, Zachary couldn't read until I got him a cell phone and told all of his friends to stop calling and start texting him. I had to tell his GF, now wife, to stop reading it to him. Awesome. I'm glad that he was able to learn to read. I'm still on. I need to charge my phone. I'm not logging off, just walking away. We'll miss you, Shannon. We'll miss you. So I'm sorry if that was a repeat story, because I think Roman told that story when we did a live together. So some of you may have heard that before. But yeah. Yeah, I definitely hate that word. And I hate that people just lump all disabilities as that. You know, having a disability does not mean that, and does not mean that you're not capable of having a good life. He's 31 now and he can read pretty well on his own, but sometimes he still needs help. They wouldn't let him join the military though because of the dyslexia. Oh, that's a shame. Sorry to hear that. Sounds like he's having a pretty good life though. He's married. I assume he has a job. If not, seems like he's getting by. That's rough. Seems like Roman is learning how to deal with difficult situations and people. Yeah, unfortunately, he's had to learn that, Crystal. But maybe I shouldn't say unfortunately. Like the circumstances are very unfortunate for that. But then again, he's learning that this might happen in life. He did a live by himself and it was very awkward. It was very, very awkward. I think he might have it posted on his site if you ever wanted to look at it, but it's kind of painfully awkward. But somebody came on in the chat and just kept saying, how long you been on crack? How long you been on crack? They probably said it like 4 or 5 times and Roman just ignored it and they went away. I feel like these situations can be used for good and growth. It is true, they can. But then again, like if this kid comes back to school, should he have to continue to deal with that? Because the school won't do crap. I mean, the kid came to school in either 3rd or 4th grade. He transferred into our district. And so from then until 9th grade, this coming year, 10th grade, he's been nothing but on Roman's butt. And the school has done nothing, even with me complaining. He works for a fabrication company, married his high school sweetheart, and has 3 girls. They keep saying they want to try again for a boy. I don't think he can make boys. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, so it sounds like, even though he wasn't able to get into the military, it sounds like he has a pretty good life. So, that would be awful that people would say he was the R word or something like that. He's living a good life. Yeah, so there's kind of like a difference between dealing with that kind of stuff and having to, or like learning from that situation and having to deal with the abuse day in and day out. So, I don't know. I'm just hoping that kid doesn't come back. Negative experiences like that helped my brother to grow as an individual, and he has a very long fuse for that sort of nonsense. Yeah. Yeah, learning experience is good, but years and years of that kind of abuse is awful. You can go to the school board if it is ongoing abuse and the school site isn't taking care of it correctly. Go up. That's a good question. I went up as far as I didn't go to the school board, but the principal. Then I went to the director of special services and the uh, vice superintendent. And they were all like, "Oh yeah, we can't really do much about it," and you know, you know, Crystal, don't even get me started on that kind of stuff. The it's not your fault. It's just the bullying policies. I work at the school, and frankly, the whole thing is BS. They just let the kids get away with everything. I've been called the C word. No repercussions, and the kids know it. They won't do anything, especially if the kid like this one is has parents who are threatening to sue for discrimination. So, oh, Adrian, thank you for stopping in. It was really nice hanging out with you. I love it when you come in. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again. So, I want to be careful about what I say, but the school, as soon as they hear the word sue, it's like, oh, no, 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 never mind. Your kid's not in trouble anymore. Even kids who get, I probably told this story before, so I'm sorry if it's, thank you so much, Adrian. That is so nice of you. There was a kid last year, a girl in 7th grade, was in an art class that I was in. I was helping a special ed kid in the art class. This was not the kid I was working with, but it was another kid in regular ed, quote, whatever regular is, but, who wasn't in any kind of special classes. So in the art class, the kids were drawing and stuff, and she got up on the table and was laying on the table, and the art teacher asked her several times to get down. She's like, no, no, I'm not getting down. And then, do I have a soothing voice that'll put you to sleep? My thing is, where's the discipline and follow through? There isn't. There's none, Crystal. But so this girl was laying on the table, and she was asked several times to get down. And the art teacher said, listen, if you don't get down, I'm going to have to write you up a detention slip. And the girl goes, go ahead. My mom will call and get me out of it. And then the art teacher didn't do a thing after that. She just let her lay on the table. So that just showed everybody in the class that you can do whatever you want and get away with it. So I would not want to be a teacher right now. That's what I, was in school. My degree is in music ed, and I taught from 95 until I had my kids starting in 08. So I taught for years, but schools were not like this when I was in, right now I'm working as an aide. I tried to get back as a teacher, but now at this point, I'm like, I wouldn't want a teaching job knowing what I know about the schools. So yeah, there's definitely no follow through. There is nothing, I just kind of come in and put my head down and do what I need to do and then go home. Can't say I have a love for it. There has to be something parents can do, like go to the school board. I wouldn't want to be a teacher now either. I don't, When Roman got punched, I think that was the closest that I came to wanting to, like, at least threaten to sue or something if they don't do something. My husband went more to a city school, so he thinks I overreact. You know, he thinks it wasn't as big a deal as I think it was. So sometimes it's hard for us to agree on what we should, where we should go with this. But when the kid was expelled, I kind of just breathed a sigh of relief, you know, like, okay, good. Because things were much better after that. It was basically this kid, and this kid would rally up some other kids. Yeah, I wish I was an accountant, Josephine. I really do. Anything but this. And it's hard when your degree is in something so specific like music education, it's really hard to bounce into something else. You know, and especially something that would be compatible with the hours. My kids are in a lot of after school activities and stuff like that. So, you know, I can't just bounce into a job where I would be working evenings and weekends because I have to drive them to their activities and I have to go to their weekend activities, and you know, they'd have to give everything up. Marina said, I thought about being a teacher for a while, even did an internship at an inner city school, but became a social worker instead. Music education, yeah. That was a mistake. I should go back to my younger self. My master's is even worse. My master's is in music therapy. But the only reason why I did that was because the person I was working for at the time, they were paying for my master's degree. I worked at a public school for a few years, and then I got hired at, I was lucky my major was biological science and minor in math. I wanted to do social work. But I worked for a special needs school, and all the kids there were very, very low functioning kids. And so I did the music program there, and they said, you know, I said to them, I said, listen, I think I need a little bit something, I need to go back and get a little more education on working with these kind of kids. Because it's not like I'm teaching these kids how to read music and play an instrument and leading a band or anything like that. And so they did this for all their employees. They paid for their employees to go back to school. So I got sent back to school, and I got my master's in music therapy, and it was really, really helpful for that job. I did like that job, but that job is, you know, over an hour away from where I live now. And I know that people do that commute, and maybe I'm just making too many excuses, but I don't know if that job is available anymore. And if it was, I still think it would keep me away for too long for things, because I probably wouldn't get home until after the kids would already be needed to be picked up from their activities for school. So, you know, maybe I'm just slightly too picky, but I don't even know if that job would be available anyway. It was kind of like a 1 in a million job, because music therapy is not, you know, it's not like there's thousands of jobs for that where you live, you know, where you can just walk out your door and get that job. But it was definitely very, very interesting. So lots of people interested in social work. What would draw you to social work? Like, what part of social work seemed interesting to you? I think like a couple of my friends went into social work, and I'm probably mistaken, but the first thing I always thought about when they said social work was like going into people's homes and taking their kids away. It never appealed to me because that's the first thing I thought of. And I'm sure that social workers do way more than that. So that's why I'm asking, like, what attracted you guys? There's a few of you that said social work. What attracted you guys to wanting to go into that field? Sorry, there's a couple of comments. Well, like teaching social work can have a high burnout rate. Music is therapeutic. That's interesting. I was just writing that. No, there's a lot of different areas. Yeah, I figured that, but for some reason, that's like the first thing that always popped into my mind. Crystal, we could get into nice long conversations about music and, like what happens to your brain when you are doing music. There are so many interesting things. Musicians, I'm going to get back to that, Marina. I'm going to come and read that in a minute. But people who learned formally to play an instrument, like learning to read music and play an instrument for longer than 3 years, have a thicker, like whatever that thing is called that connects both sides of your brain, it's thicker on people who play instruments. The people connecting to people with the right resources for their needs to help them get the help they need. There's so many sides to it. Yeah, I could see that would be nice. And then Marina said, I did patient advocacy. It was medical social work and it was helping your patients access resources, home health care. Yeah, that sounds much nicer than taking kids out of their home. It really does. But also, like when I worked at the special needs school, most of the kids were nonverbal. And there was a girl that I worked with that just loved to sing. And she never sang words because she was nonverbal, but she would just like on ahs, on the syllable ah, 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 she would sing and she could sing right on pitch. Like if I was playing chords and stuff, she would like sing right on pitch and everything. But now she was also getting speech therapy along with music therapy. But one day when we were singing together, she was really like moving her mouth a lot and she had cerebral palsy. And she was going, Mama, Mama. And like that was her first time to like really talk. And so it was really, really cool. And it was also cool because for some reason that day I wanted to video what we were doing. I wanted to kind of get a video of what we were doing to show in a slide, like we were kind of showing some of the different programs. So I wanted to get her singing for that program. So I caught her on tape, like saying her first word. And I sent the tape to her mom and her mom was like bawling because, this girl was 12 years old and it was the first time she spoke. And the first thing she said was mama. And she never became fully verbal, but it was kind of cool to see her journey to start to verbalize, when somebody can't talk for so long, and to see them start. It was pretty cool. And it was just really cool that I was videoing it at the time. So it can also be a way, oh my gosh, there was a girl, an autistic girl that I worked with, and she was very in her own mind. She was nonverbal, never said a word, never really verbalized. But what I would do with her is we would sit side by side on the piano and I would play and then she would just play like on top, like on the top note. She would kind of like make up her own melody to the chords I was playing. And she would rock back and forth and close her eyes and stuff, but you never really knew if she understood anything that you were saying to her because she never really responded. I would talk to her and I would look at her and talk to her, but I never really knew if she ever really understood what I was saying because she never acknowledged that she would understand. She was just in her own world, but she did enjoy music a lot, and she would like rock and get into it and play the piano with me. When she aged out of the program, she was moving to a different one. The place where I worked also had an adult program, but she was not going to this adult program. She was actually moving out of the school. And I was kind of sad to see her leave. So at the end, I said, today's our last day to be working together. And I said, I'm really going to miss you, but I hope that you have a good time in the new place that you go to. And for the first time, she turned around and she looked right at me and she gave me a kiss on the cheek. And I was like, oh my God, she has been understanding me all this time, just no acknowledgement at all. And I thought, like, that was really probably one of the sweetest experiences that I had there. You know, just, just knowing that I guess I had gotten through to her. Yeah, she understood. But you wouldn't have known before if she ever understood because there was really no, I mean, she was sweet and everything, but she never acknowledged that she understood, ever understood anything that you were saying to her. So, yeah, that was definitely a nice place to work. And the other good thing about that, it was a non-for-profit school and they had lots and lots of grants and everybody wanted to donate to the music program. I had anything that I ever wanted, I was able to get for that school. It was really awesome. How late are we here? I was having so much fun talking to you guys. I'm losing track of time. What a blessing. Yeah, it's amazing. I learned so much from those kids that I worked with. How resilient people can be, how, oh, there was a boy there that it was awful. His mom was a drug addict and there was a house fire and for some reason he was in a closet. He was taken away from her, but there was a house fire. She left him in the house and he was in the closet and he was so badly burned and he was fine before all this happened, but he was so badly burned, like he couldn't walk, he couldn't talk. It just it was totally devastating to him. I didn't know him right after this happened, but he was sent to the school and I knew him probably about 3 years later. He was still in a wheelchair, but he did eventually learn to walk. But he was the sweetest boy. And apparently, like, there were times where he would be doing therapies and he would be in so much pain that, he would have tears streaming down his face. But he was always pleasant, never mean, always sweet. This kid, I will never, ever forget this kid. Social workers, oh wait, am I missing? Social workers working all sorts of nonprofits if it can help with writing grants. I work with different social services agencies during the time I did work, a lot of variety there. So Marina, it sounds like you were doing the good jobs of social work. That's awesome. Yeah, like my church runs a social work program. Food pantries feed hundreds of families every month. That's awesome. That's a good feeling when you can help people like that. You know, do the thing, help people like get back on their feet. And sorry, now my eyes are watering a little bit. I'm actually not crying. I get this every once in a while where my eyes just start to dry out and then they get teary. My doctor just thinks it's one of the lovely symptoms of menopause. You know, your body's drying up. Why not have my eyes dry up too? So that's wonderful. Community social work is much needed now. Yes, for sure. For sure. I can definitely see the appeal of it when you explain it like that. I didn't have like a huge appeal to do. It didn't seem very appealing to me to do social work just because, you know, like I said, I thought of like the negative things that people would have to do. Oh, I think my eyes are really wrecking me right now. I am definitely not crying. It's just they might be telling me it's time to go to sleep. 10:51. Like I said in my video, usually once 11 o'clock hits, I'm ready for bed. And then, you know, I need to sleep till at least 7. Pretty soon I'm going to be way off of that schedule, but I'll enjoy it while I can. I've been in music programs my whole life. Do you play an instrument, Crystal? Don't leave me in suspense. I'm hanging on to this live, waiting for that response. Life, I understand wanting to get into the field you chose. I had a much stronger love for it when I was younger. I feel like my interests have guitar and my voice. Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome, Crystal. I feel like for me, though, I got to a point where I was burned out. Music is almost kind of like one of those things like crocheting is, where people expect you to do it for free. You know, like my friend's getting married and they're like, oh, can you play in my wedding? But they don't want to pay me. And I was getting overbooked for events. And there was a point where basically I was doing something every day of the week, whether it be like lessons, like, oh, my kid, even if it wasn't free, I still, like, it still took my time. My kid wants lessons. Will you play in my wedding? You know, we're doing a community musical. Will you be in the pit? Those kind of things were fun, but I think it was just too easy to get overcommitted, and especially for very little money. You know, a lot of the things were free. You know, the community, I played in the Dover Symphony for several years, and that's not a career. You know, you get a little bit of money for that, but it's not a career. I played in the pits for musicals, and basically, you know, unless you're on Broadway, you're not getting paid for that. You know, if it's a community thing. I did get paid for the lessons, but you know, again, it's like I was teaching music at a school all day and then going home and doing lessons all night. I just really burned out. I haven't touched my instruments in ages. I mean, years, just because I don't have that passion for it anymore. It just got burned out of me. So, and I've always loved crocheting. I kind of put whatever passions I had for music into crocheting instead. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to be a musician artist. I'll be a yarn artist. So that's where I stand with that. I definitely can relate to the passion because I once had it, but I just don't anymore. What do you play piccolo? I did play piccolo in marching band. Is that why you were saying that, because of the marching band amigurumi? But yeah, flute was my big instrument. That's the one that I played the most. That's what I played in the Dover Symphony I played. And I also played in the Ephrata, or not Ephrata, oh my gosh, it's so long now I can't even remember the name of it. I played in another symphony too, and I got paid a little bit for that, but it's nothing major. You know, it's not like the Philadelphia Symphony or the London Orchestra or whatever in the world. Oh, you feel like I mentioned this? I probably did when we were doing the Band Buddy book. I probably said that I played piccolo in the marching band. But yeah. All right. Sorry, I do need to get off now. My eyes are starting to get red. Ah. I hope everybody has a great night. Thanks for chatting. This was so much fun. I felt like it was a really nice evening with you guys. And hopefully we can do this again soon. Linda, if you're still on, I'm going to look for you tomorrow. So I think that's amazing. You sight read. You have to if you're going to school for it. They also make you learn every single instrument if you're going into music education. So although I probably could no longer like pick up a bassoon bassoon and play it anymore, I did at one time know how to play every single instrument. Some of them I still think I could have the ability to pick up and play, but yeah, we'll have to talk more later, Crystal. Sounds like we have a lot to chat about. All right, and Linda was still on, so I'm gonna look for you tomorrow. So have a good night, everybody. Bye.